Next up, we have Mr. Khwaja Saifuddin. He's a business leader, brand strategist, trusted advisor, angel investor, and entrepreneur based out of Dubai.
So still a good morning. May peace and blessings be all upon us and our endeavors. Hearing all these stories, I think it's very intriguing for all of us. So what I'm going to be trying to do is, I'll try and intertwine my story with what all we have heard till now. And let's see if we find any learnings from it, or at least more than the do's, the don'ts. So I started my journey on this planet less than 50 years ago. I was born in a family where my maternal grandfather owned close to 100 villages. He was the zamindar. My father's father, my grandfather from my father's side, he was the magistrate for the Britishers. So there were two different sides of things. During the quest of independence in India, my maternal grandfather gave up all these villages because he believed in the ideology of Gandhi, that there should not be a ruler and a subject, so we need to give equality. So he surrendered all those close to 100 villages back to the government, close to the independence. So this is just to give you a perspective that being born in a family where we never had to think twice that how the bread on the table is going to be arranged from. I started my education, did my schooling, college, and MBA from my hometown for a simple reason that my father never wanted to be away from me. Having completed my MBA, I was selected from the campus for a startup in Bombay. With a very heavy heart, he let me go with a simple promise, and this was happening in March, April. And the promise he had from me was that you're going to be back home for your birthday, which was in November. Within a few months, the company asked me to move to Dubai. Remembering my promise, I said, I can go and set up your operations in Dubai from a sales and marketing perspective, provided I'm back home for my birthday. I landed in Dubai, 13th of August, 1998, and those 6 months are not yet over. I started my journey in setting up the operation for this company, which had sent me to Dubai with the objective of setting themselves up in the IT domain. It was a high time because if you remember, Y2K was happening. I'm sure the 11-year-old data scientist doesn't know what Y2K was, but son, that was a time when the whole planet was coming to an end because our computers didn't know how to change from 1999 to 2000. So all the system buses and datas were supposed to go back to zero, bringing a bigger crisis. At least that's what we were told at that time. So we set up this operation, again, a partnership, typical ownership between a few investors from Dubai, owners from Dubai. Things didn't work out. And we were left in the lurch, the employees. But we were given the choice that if you want to stay back in Dubai, stay back, or you want to come back to India, you still have your jobs back in India. I said, no, I'll just take a leave, go back, cut my birthday cake with my father and the family, and come back. I came back. With a few people who were like-minded at that time, I started my own business. A young lad who was not even 25 at that time, starting a business with 3 other investors. As it had to happen, the business didn't work out. Before I could take off, I was in negativity from a financial perspective. But I stood with it. I said, whatever is the investment, or whatever was the loss, we'll divide it. Yes, it was your investment, but I was a partner. And I was a partner not only in your financial success, but in your losses as well. For the next 2 years, I paid back the losses. To put it into perspective, My salary was 4,000 dirhams, and I was paying back 2,000 dirhams out of it. Because never in my life I wanted to have a sleepless night or even a single person that I should be avoiding in this world because I didn't do what I was supposed to do. So I had to stand by with my commitments and be a man. Later, when all these things were happening, and that's something which struck me hearing one of the stories, all this crisis happened when Ramadan had just started. For me, that Ramadan meant the iftar, which was being distributed in the mosque close to me. That was my iftar, and that was my sahur. Because I had to save the money so I could continue calling back home that my parents don't realize what I'm going through. I could have easily asked them for help, shared my experience, what I'm going through, but I never wanted to give them the trouble of knowing that what their son is going through. Stood by it, people got to know. I got my first job to set up HP Retail for their distributors. At that time, HP Retail meant either the calculators which HP had to sell or a small kiosk which they had at Dubai airport. There was no concept of retail in '99. So I was assigned a job by their distributors to set up the retail segment for HP. And for the initial 3 months of probation, my salary was paid from their petty cash because they didn't have an approval to hire a headcount, but they wanted to do it. The next 4 years, I worked for them till the time the CEO was there. So we work for people, not organizations. The day the CEO left, I resigned as well because that's where the mentorship or the leadership resided. So let's always remember to be the best of the leaders, the best of the managers, because your people work for you. Their titles or the company names are just something which is printed on a piece of paper, which might change. My next endeavor was, and I won't take the name, but it's one of the largest company coming out of South Korea. They are into everything, almost. And I could only work for them for less than 6 months, which was the probation period, because the work culture was not what I wanted it to be. No matter how much you did it, the decisions were always made by somebody who's unknown, unseen, and unpresent in the real world. And that was not me. 4th of November, 2004, I started with a company called Western Digital. Western Digital was a company which was close to bankruptcy in 1998. They only had enough money to pay the salaries for the next 3 months. I was called in for an interview, and when I researched about the company, the thing which hit hard was the way the CEO at that time, Mr. Arif Shakil, I still remember his name, although I met him very later in life, but he was the one who turned around the company based on only one thing. And his ethos was that if today is the only day you have to turn around your endeavors, your passions, your dreams, what would you do? And do it that way. So I started my journey with them in 2004. Been with them close to 20 years. In 2004, I started as a sales manager. Within the next 3 years, I was the youngest director in the history of Western Digital. And for you who don't know what Western Digital is, more than half the world's digital content resides on one product of theirs or the other. They manufacture the best of the hard drives. They have brands like SanDisk, AGST, and various other products. So I was not only the youngest director in the history of Western Digital, I was managing a region which had over half the world's population. So I was managing from the Indian subcontinent to the whole of Africa, Middle East, Mediterranean, Turkey, and all these emerging markets. But the only thing which struck with us was that if today is the only day for you to perform, what changes will you bring? And putting it into perspective, my friends used to tell me that at your stature, at your level, nobody does what you're doing. Senior leadership never visits SP Road, Lamington Road, Nehru Place, all the typical IT places. It's managed by the merchandisers and salespeople. And I think so that's what made the biggest difference, that you have to roll up your sleeves. It doesn't matter what your stature on your business card is, that within a short period of time, from a single-digit market share, we were by far the market leaders. And that relationship still resides, because as a part of that, in the late 2000s, I had the opportunity of meeting Bala for the first time in India. A different role he was, and a different role I was. I think so it was going beyond the business that I got to meet Swad as well. And that's how since then she has not only been a friend, but like a sister to me. We've been standing with each other through thick and thin. So it's always beyond business and transaction that the relationships which we need to build, because this is not a very short life. Your designations, your jobs, your employments might be short, but life is very long. If we have the passion to bring the cuisines and the way of cooking and the dishes which our fathers used to have, to bring it back to the world and make sure that people get a taste of it. It's the zeal which we have, it's the belief which we have in what we do. And again, coming back to Henry Ford, you can have any color of a car as long as it's black. So it's your belief that what you're doing is the best what you can do, is the best what you can give back. Coming to CK sir, my wife's middle name is her mother's name. Not very common. But that's what our belief is, that you cannot sphere that umbilical cord and disconnect yourself from your mothers. A woman, we talk about this, all the diversity and inclusions. Diversity and inclusion is not about women. It's about us, the men. The problem is not with the women. The problem is in the mindset of the men who feel and are so sure that they are superior. We cannot create anything, let alone a woman who can create another life. So till the time we don't believe, we don't, again, if I use the word empower, it would be wrong. That means somebody else has the power, that they're giving back the power. But we have to equate. We cannot discriminate based on gender. Now that's an education which was given to me by my mother. My mother has been an educationalist. She was the principal of a girls' postgraduate degree college, from where she did her own education. Came into the management teaching role, then she was the principal for 42 years, till the time we had to force her to take a retirement and get out and spend more time with us. My sister is into the education field as well. My wife has done a master's in statistics, but she went back into the education field because my daughter is on the spectrum. So she felt that she needed more help. So she went back into the education field, started learning, researching, while I was busy at work. But for me, the eye-opener came on 14th of May, 2021, when I lost my father. I had been with him, besides him in the hospital bed for over a month. The airspaces were closed. My visa in Dubai was due for renewal. And I knew it's a one-way ticket. I lost him on 14th of May, 2021, and that was the biggest eye-opener. I could not come back. I could only come back to Dubai in August because I had to spend 2 weeks outside of India and then take the flight back in all the rules and regulations at that time. But that helped me realize, spending that time with me, that I'm wasting my life. All the missed calls which I could see on my phone, where he had tried to call me, and I was busy on a conference call, I was on a flight somewhere else, and I could have spent better time with him. I was busy developing somebody else's business. Yes, I was doing a great job, I was earning good amount of money, but for what? Of the 3 things which my father taught me in life, there was nothing about religion, there was nothing about anything else, but what he taught me was, the first thing was never regret. Because you cannot undo it. The second thing was never lose the first chance. Initially, I thought he meant about the parking spots, that as soon as you find the first vacant spot, park your car. There might be no second one. But then it hit hard that at times in life, we let go of things thinking that, okay, I'll do it later. What's the hurry? And the third thing which he taught me was that don't beat your emotions, your heart, your feelings. Do it. And that's what hit me. I came back. It took me a while to convince my organization to let go of me because I wanted to spend more time, at least with my children, which I had compromised doing it with my parents. So it took us a while. Initially, the offers were of a sabbatical and things like that, but I was adamant that it's going to be a long sabbatical. End 22, I stopped working. I wanted to take a downtime. Took my entire family for Umrah. Let's spend some time, think about it, resurrect ourselves. Came back, again got back into the grind, but with a different objective. So as my mother is working on women empowerment, I'm working with organizations back home and in certain other parts of the world that nobody should be eluded the right of education due to financial means. And it doesn't take a lot. It doesn't take a lot of money. Just to put into perspective the amount of money which we might be spending in having a decent cup of coffee, we can pay 1 year's education for a child back in India. 1 year. And that's a make and break. So we're trying to get there. Whatever we want to learn from this short story which I had about my life till now, but the journey continues, and that's where we are. Thank you.